Welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be taking a look at the 12 best Japanese motorcycles from the 70s that last forever. Number 12, the Honda CB504. The Honda CB504 sits high on the list of the best Japanese motorcycles from the 70s that last forever, and that reputation is earned through numbers, not hype. Introduced in the early 70s, this bike used a 4-cylinder, 4-stroke, air-cooled engine displacing 498 cc. It produced around 50 horsepower, which in that era was strong enough to push the bike past 100 miles per hour. What made the CB504 special was how overbuilt it was. The engine used a single overhead cam design with a forged crank and tight tolerances that resisted wear. Many original engines crossed 50,000 miles without rebuilds, and plenty went well beyond that with basic oil changes. The wet weight sat near 450 pounds, giving it stability at speed while still being light enough for city riding. In the US market, this bike became known for starting every morning and surviving abuse that killed rivals. The electrical system was simple, the carburetors were easy to tune, and the frame handled cracked roads better than expected. In the current collector market, a solid rider usually carries a price tag around $7,000, while restored examples can climb higher without losing buyers. That alone proves long-term trust. In 2026, the Honda CB504 still proves that a well-built Japanese motorcycle from the 70s can outlast owners, trends, and time itself. Number 11, Suzuki GT750. The Suzuki GT750 entered the American market in 1971 and quickly earned a reputation very different from anything else on the road. It used a water-cooled, 2-stroke, 3-cylinder engine making around 67 horsepower, a huge number for the early 70s. Wet weight sat close to 550 pounds, which gave it highway stability that many lighter 2-strokes could not match. Longevity came from engineering choices that were rare at the time. Suzuki added liquid cooling to control heat, the main killer of high-output 2-stroke engines. The crankshaft was heavily reinforced. Oil injection reduced internal wear, and cylinder temperatures stayed consistent even during long freeway runs. Many owners logged 30 to 40,000 miles without major engine failure, unheard of for a large 2-stroke in that era. In the United States, the GT750 earned the nickname Water Buffalo because it refused to overheat in traffic or desert heat. It could hold 75 miles per hour for hours, something earlier 2-strokes struggled to do. Fuel economy averaged in the mid-30s, acceptable for its performance level in the 70s. Today, clean Suzuki GT750 examples sell for around $8,000, with original bikes often valued higher. In 2026, the Suzuki GT750 remains one of the few 2-stroke motorcycles from the 70s that truly earned a reputation for lasting far longer than anyone expected. Number 10, Yamaha RD250. Yamaha RD250 arrived in 1973 and quickly built a strong name in the US as a lightweight motorcycle that could take real use without falling apart. It used an air-cooled, parallel twin 2-stroke engine making around 30 horsepower. Wet weight was close to 350 pounds, which gave it a strong power-to-weight balance while keeping engine stress low. What helped RD250 last longer than most 2-strokes was tuning. Yamaha avoided extreme compression and aggressive port timing. That kept heat under control, which was the main reason 2-strokes failed early. The Autolube oil injection system delivered steady lubrication to the crank and pistons, reducing wear over time. Many owners reported 30,000 miles before needing major engine work, a solid figure for a 1970s 2-stroke. On American roads, RD250 was practical. It could cruise at 65 miles per hour without feeling strained and still felt quick around town. In the US market today, a clean Yamaha RD250 usually sells for around $4,000, with original examples often priced higher. That value reflects a bike that still runs well, not just one that looks good. In 2026, Yamaha RD250 stands as proof that a well-engineered Japanese motorcycle from the 1970s could survive real miles and real riding. Number 9. Suzuki GT380. Suzuki GT380 was introduced in 1972 as a middleweight motorcycle that focused more on durability than chasing top speed. It used an air-cooled, three-cylinder two-stroke engine producing around 38 horsepower. Wet weight stayed close to 400 pounds, which helped stability while keeping the engine from being pushed too hard. What made GT380 last was how carefully Suzuki tuned the engine. Compression stayed moderate, and port timing favored smooth power instead of aggressive hits. That reduced heat buildup, the main reason two-strokes failed early. Suzuki's oil injection system delivered steady lubrication to the crank and pistons, limiting wear over long mileage. Many U.S. owners reported 40,000 miles or more with only routine maintenance, a strong number for a 1970s two-stroke. For American riding conditions, GT380 worked well. It could cruise at 65 to 70 miles per hour without overheating or losing power. In today's market, a clean Suzuki GT380 usually sells for around $5,000. In 2026, Suzuki GT380 proves that a properly engineered Japanese two-stroke from the 1970s could last far longer than most people ever expected. Number 8. Honda CB450. Honda CB450 launched in 1965 but earned its real reputation throughout the 1970s in the US as one of the toughest middleweight motorcycles ever sold. It used a four-stroke parallel twin engine producing around 43 horsepower, a strong figure for its time. What made CB450 last forever was engine design. Honda used a dual overhead cam setup that allowed the engine to rev safely while keeping internal wear low. The crankshaft and valve train were massively overbuilt, and the engine ran cooler than many rivals. Owners regularly pushed these bikes past 50,000 miles with only routine oil changes, valve checks, and basic carb service. For American highways, CB450 was dependable. It cruised at 70 miles per hour without vibration or overheating. Power delivery was smooth, not aggressive, which protected internal components over time. Today, a clean Honda CB450 typically sells for around $5,000, with original examples often valued higher. That price reflects trust in long-term reliability. In 2026, Honda CB450 remains a clear example of how Japanese motorcycles from the 1970s were built to run hard, last long, and keep going when others quit. Number 7. Kawasaki KZ650. Kawasaki KZ650 arrived in 1976 and quickly earned respect in the US as a motorcycle that could take serious mileage without falling apart. It used an air-cooled, inline-four engine producing around 64 horsepower. Wet weight was close to 500 pounds, giving it a solid feel on highways while keeping the engine relaxed at cruising speeds. The reason KZ650 lasted was simple: it was not pushed to extremes. Kawasaki tuned the engine below its limit, allowing it to run cooler and smoother than many rivals. Many owners crossed 60,000 miles without opening the engine, a big number even by modern standards. On American roads, KZ650 felt built for distance. It cruised easily at 75 miles per hour without vibration. Maintenance was basic: air cooling, carburetors, and easy valve access. Today, a clean Kawasaki KZ650 typically sells for around $6,000, with original examples often priced higher. In 2026, Kawasaki KZ650 stands as proof that Japanese motorcycles from the 1970s could deliver real power, real miles, and a lifespan most bikes never reach. Number 6. Suzuki GS750. Suzuki GS750 debuted in 1976 and became a landmark in the US for combining performance with long-term reliability. It featured an air-cooled, inline-four engine producing around 69 horsepower. GS750's durability came from careful engineering. The engine was overbuilt, with a strong crankshaft, robust bearings, and a gearbox designed to last. Cooling was effective even under extended rides, and regular oil changes kept valve train wear minimal. Many owners reported 70,000 miles or more without a full rebuild, impressive for a mid-70s sport motorcycle. On American roads, GS750 handled both city and highway riding well. It cruised at 75 miles per hour comfortably and could push faster without overheating. Maintenance was straightforward with easy carb access and no complex electronics. Today, a clean Suzuki GS750 typically sells for around $7,000, with fully original bikes often fetching more. The value reflects its ability to still function as a proper motorcycle, not just a collectible. In 2026, Suzuki GS750 remains one of the clearest examples of a Japanese motorcycle from the 70s that was built to last and still delivers decades later. Number 5. Kawasaki Z1. Kawasaki Z1 was introduced in 1972 and quickly became a benchmark in the US for power and longevity. It used an air-cooled, inline-4 engine producing around 82 horsepower, a serious number for its era. The Z1 earned its reputation for lasting forever through overbuilt components. The crankshaft, gearbox, and valve train were designed for high mileage, and the engine ran cooler than many European rivals thanks to careful tuning. Owners commonly reported 60,000 miles or more with only routine maintenance like oil changes, carb adjustments, and valve checks, which was remarkable for a 1970s superbike. Maintenance was simple. Basic carb care, periodic valve adjustments, and widespread parts availability in the US helped keep Z1s on the road long after the 70s ended. Today, a clean Kawasaki Z1 sells for around $12,000, with fully original examples fetching more due to collector demand. The price reflects not just nostalgia, but real, lasting performance. In 2026, Kawasaki Z1 remains a perfect example of a 70s Japanese motorcycle built to deliver raw power while surviving decades of real riding. Number 4. Honda GL1000 Gold Wing. Honda GL1000 Gold Wing debuted in 1975 and quickly earned a reputation in the US as a touring motorcycle that could handle serious mileage without failing. It used a liquid-cooled, flat-4 engine producing around 80 horsepower. What made the GL1000 last was Honda's attention to durability. The engine ran at moderate stress levels, and the liquid cooling system kept temperatures consistent, preventing wear common in air-cooled bikes. The transmission, crankshaft, and valve train were robust, allowing owners to log 70,000 miles or more with only standard maintenance like oil changes, valve adjustments, and carb cleaning. Maintenance remained practical, with simple carburetors, accessible engine parts, and widespread availability of replacement components in the US for decades. Today, a clean Honda GL1000 Gold Wing typically sells for around $9,000, with fully original bikes commanding more. The price reflects a motorcycle that continues to function as a proper touring machine. In 2026, Honda GL1000 Gold Wing proves that Japanese motorcycles from the 70s could combine comfort, power, and longevity in a package built to last. Number 3. Kawasaki KZ1000. Kawasaki KZ1000 hit the US market in 1977 and quickly became known as a motorcycle that could take serious punishment while staying reliable. It ran an air-cooled, inline-4 engine producing roughly 90 horsepower. Durability came from solid engineering choices. The crankshaft, gearbox, and valves were reinforced beyond what most competitors offered. Cooling was efficient, and the engine ran at moderate stress levels, which meant many owners reached 80,000 miles or more with only basic maintenance. It wasn't a fragile speed machine, it was a bike built to keep running hard for decades. On American roads, KZ1000 was versatile. It could cruise at 80 miles per hour all day, handled long distances with a passenger, and delivered torque smoothly at low and mid RPMs. The frame and suspension were simple but strong, able to survive rough surfaces without issues. Routine maintenance stayed practical: carb cleaning, valve adjustments, oil changes. Today, a clean Kawasaki KZ1000 sells for about $10,000, with pristine originals fetching more. In 2026, Kawasaki KZ1000 stands out as a 70s Japanese motorcycle that combined big performance with long-term durability, proving it was built to endure real use over decades. Number 2. Yamaha XS650. Yamaha XS650 arrived in the US in 1969 and became a standout for reliability throughout the 1970s. It used an air-cooled parallel twin four-stroke engine producing around 50 horsepower. Wet weight hovered near 420 pounds, light enough for nimble handling but heavy enough to remain stable at highway speeds. What made XS650 last was its simple and strong engine design. The pushrod 2-valve setup was easy to maintain, and the crankshaft, bearings, and gearbox were all built to handle long-term stress. Many owners reported 60,000 miles or more without major engine work, a rare feat for a vintage Japanese twin. On American roads, XS650 was practical and comfortable. Maintenance remained straightforward. Valve adjustments were simple, carburetors were accessible, and parts were widely available in the US, helping these bikes survive long past the 70s. Today, a clean Yamaha XS650 usually sells for around $7,500, with fully original examples fetching more. The value comes from genuine usability, not just collector appeal. In 2026, Yamaha XS650 proves that a well-engineered Japanese motorcycle from the 70s can remain a dependable, rideable machine even decades later. Number 1. Honda CB750. Honda CB750 arrived in the US in 1969 and instantly became the benchmark for Japanese motorcycles, earning the nickname the original superbike. It featured an air-cooled, inline-4 engine producing around 67 horsepower. What made CB750 last was Honda's focus on durability and simplicity. The engine used a single overhead cam, strong crankshaft, and reliable gearbox. Many owners reported 70,000 miles or more without major rebuilds, an extraordinary figure for an early 1970s bike. The oiling system and valve train were robust, and the bike ran cooler than European competitors, which helped preserve engine life over decades. On American roads, CB750 was versatile and practical. It could cruise comfortably at 75 miles per hour, handle long distances with a passenger, and deliver smooth torque at all RPMs. Maintenance was straightforward, with easy carb access, valve adjustments, and widely available parts in the US. Currently, clean Honda CB750 models sell for around $12,000, with original or restored examples often higher. In 2026, Honda CB750 remains the ultimate proof that Japanese motorcycles from the 70s were built to last, combining performance, reliability, and longevity in one legendary package. And with this, we have reached the end of this video. Make sure to like it and subscribe the channel for future upcoming videos.